folks, this is Rainiac, and this is week 6, or is it week 7? That 1 week recipe we took really screwed me up. Of the Let's Play Olympics 2, the confusing return to numbers. And this week's game, well, as you can see, it's the one that's not enough for the N64, but that was not actually the game that we were given. We were given a bit of a choice this week. It wasn't a free choice, because this week is movie week. And the caveat is, you have to play a game that's a tie-in of a movie, that's based off a movie. But you can't do any games that you've already LPed in the past, so that ruled out The Addams Family, and it also ruled out Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Thank God. So the game starts off pretty much the same way the film does, which is a nice touch. This adaptation game, this tie-in, is actually somewhat faithful to its original material. There are obviously changes. Now here's the first funny thing about this game. You might have noticed that the receptionist, her dialogue is a little bit garbled. The reason for this is that for some reason, no matter what audio plugin I tried with this program, I couldn't get it to work absolutely accurately. Now I show off this civilian here because it's a neat little exploit. When you first start this level, you are given 2 objectives. So for whatever reason, I don't know why this works, but if you run into that room, get out your watch in stunner mode, very important that, shoot the civilian with the stun watch, go into that door, grab the appointment card which gets you into this area to go and see Lachey's, the Swiss banker played by Patrick Malahide in the movie. Get the appointment card. I'm talking through the cutscene because it's nothing important. It's just the scene where Bond meets Lachey's and then Lachey's gets executed by Cigar Girl. Grab the appointment card and then run out the bank. It will say that you've failed the mission, but when you finish the mission, you'll actually find you've completed it. And the best thing is, this works even on 00 agent mode, because like in Goldeneye, you've got agent mode, secret agent mode, and 00 agent mode. So Lachey's gets shot by Cigar Girl here. In the film, she knifed him in the back of the head, and this guy gets knocked down by the explosion, but you do want to shoot him in the head because he's not actually dead, he just gets knocked out by the explosion. Not quite sure how that works. If you leave him for too long, he will stand up and start to shoot you. You can just shoot him and get extra ammo for your gun, but I find if you just shoot him cleanly in the head, he goes away, and you don't have to worry about it. Now these guys in suits are actually the Chase's bodyguards. They're your typical first-person shooter, first enemies you have to deal with. You cannot shoot civilians, as is typical with first-person shooters, and this game is kind of similar in its gameplay to Goldeneye, which is kind of interesting because this was not developed by Rare. It is the second James Bond game, or James Bond tie-in game, to come out for the N64. It was, I mean, it came out in 1999, not 2012, so it was past tense. Shooting all these guys here with a Mustang .44, which is essentially a scope magnum. Really powerful gun, takes down most things in one hit. Now, we need to crack this safe. Another thing that The World's Not Enough does that Goldeneye did not have, and by the way, open up these cupboards for some handy extra ammunition. You may not know that's there, even if you've played this game before. And more bodyguards to shoot. If you hold the A and the B button, you can select gadgets on this sort of scroll menu, and for some reason I can't aim the swipe card for shit in this thing. Failed twice, finally open it. As soon as you go in here, make sure you take down this guy and then this guy, because sometimes you cannot kill civilians. Sometimes that guy will fire, miss, hit the computers, they'll explode and take out these 2 civilians and you'll fail the mission. Using the dart function of the watch, because you cannot kill civilians, but you can dart them and you can stun them. Although if you stun them, you fail the mission, so all you can do is dart them. If I were playing this in 00 agent mode and I was tempted, there would be bank security guards, like the kind you saw. By the way, that guy never stood a chance, took him out from behind before he could turn around and react to me. There would be bank security guards on these floors, like you saw in the lobby, like the guy that said, "Excuse me sir, please take off your firearm." But you cannot kill them, so you have to use the darts. And the big problem with the darts is they are not permanent. They will wear off, and the guard will get it back up and proceed to try and kill you again. We've now got the money, which means that the only objective we've got left is to escape the bank with the money. Now in the film, this is a lot more exciting. Bond shoots out a window, attaches a bungee cord to an unfortunate bodyguard that got knocked down in the firefight with Cigar Girl, Lachey's and his bodyguards, and proceeds to abseil out of the window. Unfortunately, the N64 couldn't handle that, I'm guessing, so they just have you do the more conventional run out of the bank and trigger this very short cutscene. The PlayStation version of this game, which I have played, a friend happened to have it way back in the day. I think I'm right in saying that that little scene out of the window does take place. Moving on to the second level of the game then, or the second mission, is King's Ransom. Now, a neat little thing here is, before the mission begins, you get intel from N, Robinson, and Q. Except that's R. You can also pull up the surveillance to take a look at all the different characters that you'll be seeing throughout the mission. Here we've got M, Moneypenny, Robinson, Dr. Warmflash, which is a terrible name, and MI6 security guards. This is actually a really cool mission, just based on the location that it takes place in. Much like many other movie tie-in games, this game takes very small scenes and makes entire levels out of them. And skipping this cutscene because it's just he meets King and then King goes off and Bond realises that King has got a bomb or is about to trigger off an explosion. And that's what this entire mission is about. However, the game spices things up a little because it would be kind of boring if we were just walking to the vault to watch the robot blow up. So instead, terrorists have broken into the MI6 building. Slightly unrealistic, but I'll take it. And you have to get rid of them. Moneypenny gives us a pen grenade, and guys bursting immediately through the window to get shot. The MI6 security guards here are your allies. They can take down enemies for you, and they're quite effective at doing that. Unfortunately, they're also quite good at running into your line of fire and getting themselves killed. And if that happens, then you'll fail the mission, because the guards can get killed by enemies. That will not count as a mission failed. And again, bursting through the window just to get shot by Bond. But if you shoot any of your allies, then you fail the mission. Using the pen grenade that we picked up from Moneypenny, quite where Moneypenny was storing that thing, I have no idea. But unfortunately, it didn't really do much because I had to pull out a gun and start shooting them because I kind of feel I was going to get shot otherwise. Pressing this terminal activates the third floor lockdown, so this should, in theory, stop any more terrorists from getting inside. And now for some unfairness. As soon as I step out of this door, I get ambushed by not one but two terrorists. The really annoying thing about this is, this never happened any time ever during my practice runs. They've never spawned there before. And another unfair thing, despite the fact that we're now locked down, that terrorist somehow spawned. You kind of saw his arm, and there goes one of my allies. Poor guy, he was just 2 days to retirement as well. Now, as Moneypenny said, you might not have heard, M was kidnapped, but all you got to do to rescue her is to shoot this one terrorist dead. M then, for some reason, decides to come with you to the security centre. As for Moneypenny, well, she's not coming with us. She's going to be content to just cower in fear. Rather than coming with us to the nice, safe security room, she's going to stay there like a coward and presumably be a nice shooting, sitting duck target for any terrorists that happen to get into that room. Fortunately, the path back to the security room is a lot less dangerous this time around. There's only 2 or 3 terrorists still around again. How they're here when we locked down the floor entirely, I have no idea. New gun here, the Magnum. And once you get M into this room, I kind of like the idea of using the fingerprint scanner. That's quite good. I always shut this door here just for peace of mind, really. Because occasionally I have found... Well, there was one case in my practice room where I got into that room, initiated the 3rd floor lockdown, and then a terrorist immediately spawned in the room, shot a scientist, and I lost the mission because of it. Or rather, I shot a scientist trying to kill the terrorist. There's body armor in here, which is good because I'm kind of getting a pasting. And now we come to perhaps the most fun bit of the level. First of all, you have these guys on wires, and you can just shoot them down and get all your ducks in a row right here. Switching to the Magnum, which kills these enemies in 1 hit. And perhaps the most fun enemy in the game to shoot here, because he's scripted to die in spectacular Hollywood fashion doing a backflip off the guardrail. Now as you go down these stairs here, do a reload, because you will get what I call a free reload, because a little cutscene kicks in where some more guys jump in from the roof. And again, getting your ducks all in a row. If you shoot these guys... If you quit, you can shoot those guys all and kill them before they even hit the ground, because they won't start shooting until they hit the ground. Now, this guard gives you a new objective. You'll notice this game is kind of throwing objectives at our way quite fast. This is quite different to Goldeneye. In Goldeneye and its spiritual sequel, Perfect Dark, you're given a specific set of objectives which doesn't change throughout the whole of the mission. Here, however, you're given 1 or 2 objectives to start off with, and then as the game goes on, you're given some secondary ones. I kind of like that, actually. It's kind of an interesting mechanic. As soon as you turn the sprinkles on, this guy is going to jump in through a hole in the roof, so make sure you're ready to blast him with a shotgun. And this guy respawns, so take care of him as well. Now, another neat little exploit here, or speedrunning tactic. Go into the security center, press the terminal to activate the lockdown, then immediately hurry through this door. If you do it right, you'll actually activate a little bit of a shortcut and save a little bit of time. And in here is a gasoline-powered computer which explodes the moment you shoot it. You just forget rid of that terrorist because he can kind of ambush you and take off a bit of health and replenish your body armor. You might have noticed when the explosion went off near the stairs that I lost half my body armor. As far as I can tell, you can't actually avoid that. I think that happens whatever. And these fire extinguishers you can actually shoot. I don't think I show it off in this particular run, but they will explode. In one run, that backfired in my face spectacularly. I came out of this room, shot a fire extinguisher, and killed myself. This guard asks you to fetch the Doctor, Dr. Warmflash, gotta hate that name. And through here is another little cutscene with the death of Sir Robert King. Now, this is in the film, except he gets blown to Kingdom Come and doesn't have time to speak. And I deal with... And I was staying quiet there for a second because that is actually John Cleese, his voice. John Cleese is the official voice actor for Q, which is really kind of neat. However, it does offer up a couple of problems, and my god, so many terrorists! If you've seen the film, and I'm assuming you have because it's 13 years old now, and it's a Bond film, and everyone should see all the Bond films, even Quantum of Solace, despite how terrible that one was. In the World Is Not Enough, the Q that starts the film is Desmond Llewellyn, the original Q, the Q that everybody loves. However, he retires about 20 minutes into the film and is replaced by R, played by John Cleese. And yet, in here, Q is John Cleese the whole way through. Just kind of an interesting thing. And now we've got to escort Dr. Warmflash, I still hate that name, back to the vault so she can tend to those injured guys. Now, Dr. Warmflash is the example of the worst AI in this mission, possibly in this game. I've lost count of the number of times I've played this mission, especially in double agent mode, only for it to get shot and killed. And you might have noticed I cleared out a few guys the wrong way, because the vaults are to the right, I went to the left. That's because she can sometimes run into those guys and get herself shot. Fortunately, on this occasion I got her to the injured man without getting her killed, and therefore that's another objective completed. I do like this game. I think it's kind of an underrated game. It's not as good as Goldeneye or Perfect Dark. And there go the security guards. Red shirts, a lot of them, but never mind. Not as much red shirt as these terrorists. God damn. Decided to run away from that guy because it wasn't worth it. And again, loading screens. God damn it, why? It's not as good as Goldeneye or Perfect Dark, but I still think it's quite a faithful adaptation of the movie. Though some things have changed, obviously. I like how Bond injures that scientist. And remember what I said about Q? Yeah, there is the original Q. Obviously not voiced by Desmond Llewellyn, because unfortunately we'd actually lost him at this point to a motorcycle accident, which was tragic. So just a kind of a weird thing with Q/R/John Cleese. As I say, not as good as GoldenEye or Perfect Dark, but it's still a fun little game in its own right. It does have some very annoying missions like the stealth levels, my god, why? But for the most part, it's an underrated game, and I would recommend you check it out if you haven't already. Now, this is the first level that is entirely invented for the game. This does not appear in the film, and taking out these guys on the boat took me a few goes, but managed to get rid of them. This level does not appear at all in the film. It goes straight from the cutscene at this level to the cutscene at the end of level 4. But obviously, to pad the game out a bit, they added a couple of extra missions. Another thing you might have noticed is that a lot of the weapons that we're collecting here are either very similar to, or actually identical to, the weapons from GoldenEye, but obviously they have different names because this is a Eurocom game, not one by Rare, so they couldn't use the exact names. For example, this is similar to the Club, the Maya TMP is similar to the ZMG, and the Warfare P2K is this game's version of the PP7. It actually makes its debut in Tomorrow Never Dies. Wei Ling gives it to Bond in the Chinese technology room. She says, "We've made some improvements." Now, if you don't kill these guys quickly enough, they will shoot those hostages and you'll fail the mission. And spearmen here, for some reason, they give you a nice new weapon, the Seamaster Spear Gun, which only appears in this level. It's kind of a gimmicky weapon, but it's very powerful. I think he got the point. Apart from the fact that in Goldeneye, if you aim the gun down, then your sight goes up, and if you aim it up, then your sight goes down. But apart from that, and the fact you can't peek around corners, and that the C up button jumps, the controls are exactly the same as Goldeneye. And we're born down to a sliver of health. That's all for The World Is Not Enough, Week 6. Join me next week for Week 7, or is it 8? Till then, bye for now.